Alright, what's going on, you guys? This is Eric here with Investor Central Club with Stacks. We don't have too many earnings coming up tonight or after hours today. We got CRWV, RGTI, Kava. The rest of the names probably aren't of that much interest. We'll keep an eye on these before the market closes. It is 12:36 West Coast, so Pacific time, Tuesday, August 12th. And I kind of just wanted to keep an eye on our flow today, just because we often see some very interesting prints, especially today after we saw CPI come in. Now, let's discuss that a little bit. We saw CPI came in a little bit cooler than expected. So it came in 0.1 below expectations. Core CPI was a little bit higher, but the market did react pretty favorably to it. So we did see quite a bit of a pump overall. Wanted to go over this as well. So I just saw this. I just posted it in our Discord. ED, which is Consolidated Edison. The thing that's interesting about this position is they're purchasing for the $100 calls, which is in the money, but they are purchasing for the end of this week. It is an in the money position, so there's a little bit less of a aggression or aggressiveness to that move. But it is just something I wanted to point out as I was logging on here for live. Another thing as well, IWM, and we do got some buys that have just popped in, but we, right before I was logging on as well. Saw all these for September 19th, under 218 or under 220. So a lot of IWM puts that came in. That's an interesting one too. VALE. We just saw all this come in. If you filter for the buys, look at that. So another thing too though, in the money shows a little bit less aggressive than you would expect. What you do want to see for a bigger move would for it to be out of the money, for that large expected move, and for them to be spending a lot of premium on it. But this is still something I want to bring up. So I'm gonna screenshot this and drop it into my channel. For those of you joining us, go ahead, comment Stacks in the description box below. Let me know, is there anything that you guys are watching or looking at right now? I do know over the course of the last few live streams, we've been making this call out here, PCG. We're seeing it make a decent move right now. It's gone up from about 14 or so, now up past 15, tapping close to that 15.5. So those PCG positions should be doing pretty well. I am in on, which ones? Let's see. I think it was this one, the January 16th. So I've got some time on them. Those ones are up over 50% now. Let me see. 62% on those ones. Another one that we made a call out for earlier in the week was ETHA, Ethereum. And here as well, we do see continued buying for those for the end of this week and for September 19th. 36 calls and 35 calls. These are a little bit pricier than the other one, but at the end of the day, they are aiming for out the money. So kind of a small move, 3 to 5% in that move, but it's still something, we definitely could see higher for. Ethereum is making new all-time highs at this point. Another CRWV came in, so I did just post this in my channel as well. CoreWeave, I would definitely say I'm staying away from this as an earnings play. There is a little bit more bullishness, but you do also see some, some bearish puts being taken as well. If you're filtering and looking just at out the money, this one's hard to tell in terms of what direction it's really going to go, or at least with what Stacks is showing. I did do our analysis, earnings analysis in our Sunday stream, Saturday or Sunday stream. So, all that stuff all of it's already in there. If you are in our Discord or in our Stacks software, you can always go jump into my channel, or I've also done the earnings case studies and I've dropped them all in there. So for example, CoreWeave, you just got to scroll back up here a little bit, and Stacks Flow said, a lot of stuff coming in. 815 calls above 140, 815 puts below 125 and 95, which is a pretty big move. Big money unusual prints from July were all puts. Insiders haven't been selling. The last time they sold was back in March. And like I said, we've got bullish catalysts, we've got some bearish risks. And I will also point out, the moves that have been coming into the market have been pretty strong when it comes to some of these earnings. So for example, if I show you guys Circle, which Circle did have its earnings in the morning, we saw Circle move all the way up to, let's consider that from here to here, had a 17% move up, and it's come all the way back down, so it's basically flat at this point. So, especially with these types of names, you got to get out in the morning right away, especially after earnings. A lot of times we see a lot of volatility. There are some names where if they report really good numbers, you'll end up seeing them continue to move up throughout the day, or it'll take a dip, it'll sell off in the morning, and then it'll start moving back up. But as you can see, this, you got to remember, they actually reported an EPS that was negative 267%. Revenue is up 1.92%, but that's very, very minor compared to that missed EPS. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that's how Circle moved. One thing I did also point out, this could be setting up for something pretty good, coming up. What I drew earlier was this yellow block showing where a lot of volume. You can also use the VRVP, which is the volume profile, to see what it looks like. But basically, it's come back down to that volume area, and it's basically started to bounce up away from it. Now, obviously, if you're in options, you would have wanted to get out early today. As of right now, there might be another entry point. I would keep an eye out for Circle to see what continues to come in on Stacks. So, for example, really quick, CRCL. A little bit of a mixed sentiment at this point, but yeah, it's come back all the way back down. So if you see in the morning, somebody purchased more calls in the morning at that 180 spot. It's back down to 165. And these are all still pretty short term, so. More CoreWeaves, a little more bullishness in that. But like I was telling our Discord, $800 for each one of those positions is a little bit too spicy, a little bit too high of a premium for an earnings play. You only have till Friday. Opening up on Wednesday, you got 2 days left for that. If it does not jump up above that strike, you actually could see Ivy crush it pretty hard. So I'm gonna be a watcher on that one. I'm just gonna sit on the sidelines and see what happens with it. I will also point out too, if you take a look over on the side, IV is extremely high for a lot of these names too. Archer did report. Archer dropped. We'll see. But like I'll show you here, still got them buying, and this one is for quite some time, 2027. Let me know, what are you guys watching today? Is there anything you want me to go over, anything you want me to take a look at? And also really quickly just show you guys, if I filter for ETFs and go back to CPI this morning. Right, CPI, you got a lot of bearishness coming in, probably just hedging even after that. But we did see the price of a lot of these actually jump a little bit in the morning. So yeah, they've actually bought puts in the morning. Oh, SPY out 642, new all-time highs. Here's one I wanted to share with you too. If you peek over at, oh, we got two that came in today. JMIA just came in. But we also had Intel. If you guys have been following the news, President Trump was talking poorly about the CEO of Intel, saying how, you know, he's messing up the company, etc. And then they had a meeting, and now he's praising him for what he's doing with the company. But $25 calls, out of the money, $1 million spent, 1.08. That's not too bad of a position to be taking. And if we peek over at Intel overall, since that position was taken, it's kind of been mixed though. There's still some people, you know, it's got to fix. They got to fix up a couple things. I know they've been laying off people, you know, making their bottom line look a little bit prettier. But, I mean, Stacks has its own proven track record. That might be a decent position to consider for the long run. I will also point out, too, let me see this. That looks like... So that looks like here. So they purchased the $25 calls. They sold the 30. So that makes that premium a little bit cheaper for that. As a result, they're only spending about 65 cents per share, so $65 for each of those contracts. But it just basically means they're aiming for above 25. They don't think it's going to go past 30. So understand that's a spread that they took. We got like 10 minutes till close. We're just going to keep an eye on the flow. Well, they are selling some of those VALE contracts that we just saw. I'll also bring up this one. I've been in this play for a while. Already made some off of it. Unity is in a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. We got in around the breakout here, so we already saw some pretty decent returns on them. I had some runners that I just added to recently. I do believe that we're seeing a sign of strength with this first move up. A little bit of a consolidation. We could see a last point of supply and another buy up, and it is actually moving up pretty strongly today. My positions are, you know, more back in nice and green again in this position. So if you believe in Wyckoff and Wyckoff accumulations, this is a pattern where I was watching. There's another guy on Twitter, Free Wyckoffs, where, you know, he's in this position as well. He believes in it too, and I definitely agree with him. We've seen this spring and last point of supply already. We do see buying up. Company is reporting positive earnings and things like that. So, and it's actually been kind of quiet in terms of the news. We did just see, was it Morgan Stanley just upgraded it to, I think, $40 as its price target. So it was trading at about, what, 31, 32 just recently. After earnings, it popped up and dropped, but it looks like it's getting snatched up. So something to consider. It might not be too late to get into it. I am in the January 2026 position, so I've got some time on these. All right, let's see what else we see coming in. More Intel coming in. Over the by the end of the week, that's in the money. So remember, if you see the gold medal in here in the money, it has less weight or less significance in terms of expecting a move, because they technically could still see it go down. They could still snatch up those shares and continue writing it out. And that premium is actually fairly small too, but we do have quite a bit of flow coming in for Intel. CoreWeave puts coming in. Yeah, like I said, it's hard to tell what direction CoreWeave's going to go. Let me pull up the chart too for you guys. It's actually moved up pretty hard over the last few days since this weekend. We already saw it, you know, it was just starting to break out. So it was as low as what, 102. It's up like 40, almost 50% from that position from just earlier in this month. Could we see it head up further? Definitely, but one thing to keep in mind is we've been seeing a lot of EPSs that are expected to be negative if the company's not making money yet. If it does not hit those targets, if it ends up missing it, even just barely, or coming right in line, more often than not, we're seeing selling off with those positions. We also saw Big Bear as well. Big Bear sold off like crazy, and one of the things we wrote in our earnings analysis is that this name tends to sell off after earnings. It's like 86% of the time it sells off. We saw a big sell-off yesterday. This position, one of the positions we saw, they got in at like 25 cents, ended up topping out over $1 or so. So that's almost a 300% return on that. It's already come all the way back. It can't drop down below $5, and it's already coming back up above 6. But you can definitely see how, you know, I drew a lot of these resistance lines that you can see end up acting as a bit of support and resistance as we move up and down. Yeah, CoreWeave having another 5% day. We'll see. We'll see what happens after our hours. Let's check Rigetti RGTI. Let me double check our stacks on that. I keep on wanting to call this rigatoni RGTI. Let's see. 815. We do have some puts, some 1.5 mil being taken for it to drop below 14.5. But this is all. We do have some puts being sold today, so they don't expect it to go down below those values. But nothing coming in right at the end right now. So. Let's put a peek over at Kava too. Will Kava follow along with what we saw with Chipotle? Kava here, $75 strike, puts $74 strike, puts. We haven't seen anything since the beginning of the month. No politicians, no insider trades for that. So we're definitely still seeing a lot of hedging for SPY, IWM, especially as we hit these all-time highs, so keep that in mind. Nvidia, QQQ, Tesla. Still fairly bullish on some of these names. Coinbase, pretty bullish. IBIT, definitely saw a lot of IBIT coming in today. A lot of big money coming in for Bitcoin ETF. Broadcom, Google. Well, this one's new. Light. Haven't seen this one. Puts and calls today. So short-term drop, but possibly headed up further after that. That's something to consider. All right, we got 4 minutes till close. Let me know if you guys are here watching. Bit of Google coming in. A lot of calls being sold, but few puts. Quite a bit of calls most recently. I also want to bring this up. We did have some people asking about Wave X. Wave X is something that is coming very soon. You may see it says coming this summer. We've got it on deck. It will be released in due time. Just bear with us as we get the last little kinks figured out with it. But what it is it's a way for you to gauge the premium sentiment when it comes down to the calls and puts. And in this situation, you can see you've got the green line, which shows calls. You got the red line that shows puts. You have the overall net positive or negative flow on the bottom side. So that, big green bar as it pops up shows that there's much more positive call sentiment coming in for UNH here. And then you can see on the blue line shows where price is going. So price went from 255, popped all the way up to 261, 262. And you can see how the flow of these calls came in to kind of boost that price as well. So that'll be released very soon. Stay tuned. I'm sure you guys are excited. We're adding new tools to stacks for you guys to use. So it says coming soon, coming soon. It's almost here. Ooh, I like that. More Wolf. Wolf's been kind of back and forth, but Wolf is definitely, I'm gonna screenshot that for our group. Yes, I will cover CoreWeave. We already talked all about what's going on. Oh, let's see what that was. That just moved. CoreWeave, we talked about that. We already did the analysis. It was in our previous one. We're just gonna watch and see what happens with the flow. All right. Got a minute till close. We just saw Ethereum just popped up higher, so ETHA is up higher. Let's watch CoreWeave as we go into close. All right. What's up, baby boy? All right. CoreWeave making a move up. I don't believe they've reported just yet. Let me double check on what's going on with Twitter. Light also reports, we pulled that up earlier. CoreWeave earnings, nothing just yet. So that first push up isn't necessarily what's going to happen. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. I'm going to pull up RGTI too. Let's see, Kava, same thing, staying flat so far. Usually we'll see this all come in about 15 minutes. Also was light was another one. Yeah, more often than not, the first move is usually the wrong move. Yep, that's what we expect too. Usually they take away and take out some stops on one end before they let it run to the other. Oh, big push down. But I don't see anything so far for actual earnings. Up and down, up and down. Yeah, you usually, right before earnings, you see some of these pretty ugly looking wicks. Light looks like it's pushing up. Yep. EPS. Oh, they did real well. EPS. Oh, 88 cents. So, yeah, they beat by about 10%. We did see some of these calls come in right before close. So, yeah, lights running. 7% up. CRWV is down 1.5% so far. Let me know, are you guys in on any of these positions? Are you bullish or bearish? RGTI basically flat so far, nothing so light up 8% now. CRWV, no report just yet. I'm just refreshing Twitter on CRWV. There's nothing posted yet, so. Yeah, it's always interesting when you see something like this. And if you're bullish on this, that might be a good sign for you. You're just taking out the liquidity and the stops before they push it in the other direction. Because nothing's come out yet. Oh, there we go. CRWV reported earnings. Is that really a beat? CRWV revenue 1.1 bill, which was estimated to be 1.1 bill. So it was a beat. However, EPS, I'll double check. This looks like it might not be right. CRWV estimate, nope, it's still just an estimate. Still nothing yet. Yeah, CRWV, I think we were looking at the flow for stacks, and CRWV looks long-term decent. We got them buying for November bullish, January bullish. But yeah, I mean it's also one of those You know, since it's a little bit newer, let me show you. Whenever you have these newer stocks, tend to have this look to it. Quick accumulation, big run up, dump from there. Question is it reaccumulating here and headed further up, or are we going to get that dead cat bounce and head further down? But it looks like it's doing well so far. Just popped. There we go. CRWV up $5, so 2 to 3%. Strong second quarter results. EPS was a miss. Revenue was a beat. Missed EPS by 22%, beat revenue by 12%. But it's come right back down, so is it getting bought up? We're seeing some volume come in. RGTI dropped 4%. Light is up about 4.5%. Kava still hasn't reported, has it? No. There's a lot of chopping around for CRWV after the earnings report. That operating income margin is only 2%. Net loss margin is better than last year. Loss of 60 cents per share. $4 billion expansion deal with OpenAI. AI Labs Enterprises, partner of Aston Martin, Formula One team, cool. We'll see. Oh, there we go, there's the drop. Playing with your emotions there. Up and down, up and down. Now it's down 3%. Kava. Kava. That candle's so big it dropped off my screen. Yeah. That was, like we said, with Chipotle struggling, I would expect Kava to have a similar reaction too. Down 14%. Kava down 14%, 15%, 16%. That's still dropping. CRWV is basically flat. Rigetti, RGTI down 4%. Light is up about 4%. I think Kava is going to be the big mover. 17% now, down now. Now CRWV is flat now. Might just see it chop around after hours. Yep. These candles make me think it might be headed down though. if it breaks down below this 142, these wicks up here are massive, so it keeps pushing further. I mean, with them missing, right, they missed EPS, so I would not be surprised to see a drop. Yeah, it definitely looks more like it's going to break down. I agree. That blue line I had here is basically where previous support was, so yep, there we go. Just headed down. Down 3. It's only 4% so far. We'll see how much it moves. That's earnings for you. CoreWeave. We also have to keep in mind they still have their earnings call, so that could head it up, you know, bring it back up the other direction. But as of right now, yeah, it looks like it's going to break down. Zoom out a little bit. Previous, I mean, look at that. That was just today's move, right? Today's move went down from up 14% just today. Well, it didn't close. It didn't close at that, but yeah. Headed back down to a point of control. So this orange line right here is called the point of control. It's where the biggest amount of volume happens to be on whatever's on the page. And you can see it bounced right off of that right away, because that's where the most buyers and sellers happen to be in terms of what we see. All right, if I readjust it, that's still where it's at. So, yep, bounced right off of it. Kava looking like it's breaking down 20% now. If you use Chipotle as the indicator, I mean, Kava basically went right along with that. Consumer dealing with headwinds, uncertainty. Okay. CoreWeave starting to break down past that point of control. Now it's down 7%, 6.5%. Light also not looking too great too. I mean, it's up, but breaking down from that pop. RGTI recovering from its drop. Now basically flat. Oh, its revenue was just under its estimate. CoreWeave down 7.5%. All right. I don't think there was anything else that we're necessarily looking at. We do have this upcoming tomorrow after close. We got CSCO. On Thursday we got Applied Materials. We also have JD and Weibo. Those are pretty much the big ones for this upcoming week. So, let me know if all these breakdowns are already written up in our Discord. So if you're in Stacks or in our Discord, you can check it out. Oh, we just saw CoreWeave drop a little bit more. It's now down 8.5. 5%, down to 135. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way when we go live, we will be live tomorrow to watch CSCO. Definitely watch CSCO tomorrow. See how that turns out. We'll keep an eye out for what the flow says right beforehand too. That way we get some insights as to see what big money is about to do. That being said, this is Investor Central Club Stacks. Happy to do this for you guys. Leave us a like. That way YouTube knows to push us out to as many people as possible. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know the next time that we go live. We're going to be doing these earnings, earnings reviews, earnings calls throughout the rest of this earnings season. Once it comes back around next quarter too, we'll be back at it. All right. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Chat with you guys in the next one.